go. This is This Week in Patriots Baseball, a podcast, a new podcast. We're changing mediums this year, going from, well, it's been a decade really, but we're going from YouTube to the podcast scene, and we are en route to opening day with Patriots manager Keith Fischer. I'm your host, Chad Kurz.
I hear we're on the cutting edge of this podcast medium.
Yeah, we're
early
adopters. So, there's no telling how this is going to go. It's a little trial and error, but, bear with us, folks.
Well, the old show was pretty pioneering in its own way. So this one is really following in that vein.
That's true. I mean, I think if we can upgrade from, like, the 480p that we were shooting the old vlogs in, we may be onto something with this podcast.
As long as the theme song... We bring back the theme song.
That's true. We'll have to do some of that in post-production.
Okay.
But I think
they've already heard the theme song.
Yeah, I think we can. That's true. You would have already heard it by this point in the podcast, so you'll know if we successfully executed that. Okay. Nostalgia aside, Fish, it's great to be with you for another season of Patriots baseball. This is season 18, 19? 19, approaching 2 decades of Washington Patriots baseball.
Hard to believe.
First, I mean, we have a rundown here that we want to get into, but that is an impressive. No, I have to imagine that's one of the longest tenured teams in our league. Do you have any idea? And either way, I mean, looking back on 19 years, what does that mean to you? It's
crazy actually to think about that it's been that long. It's a little sad that I'm certainly the only person that's been on the team for those 19 years, but in some way I wear that as a badge of honor, Chad. And actually, a bunch of the teams in the league actually have been with us for a long time. I know the Oakland Orioles. I remember losing to them in the playoffs my first season as a Patriot back in 2001. So they've been around for at least as long as we have. And I think the Boston Bruins, who we'll talk about in a little bit, they've been around a while too. So there have been some teams that started around the same time, and some old guys still out there playing baseball.
That's awesome. That's fantastic. Well, let's look ahead to this 2019 season. We have a police officer up here on the left looking to pull people over as we get onto the on-ramp of 66, so wouldn't be doing my co-pilot due diligence if I didn't point that out. Safety first here on This Week in Patriots Baseball, a podcast. So yeah, Fish, as we look ahead to 2019, certainly a successful 2018 season, looking to build on that, take things to the next level and beyond. What's your outlook on 2019?
I'm super excited for this season. I think battled through injuries last year, but I think everyone would agree that even despite that, we left a lot on the table last year. But this year we were able to build depth at the end of last year due to those injuries. We had to go out and find some guys that have really helped us toward the end of last year, and they're all back this year. And then we're getting some guys back from injury, like Luke, who's going to be able to help us again this year. So I think we have more talent on the team this year than we ever have before, more depth, 26, 27 guys, all who can help us win. So I think we really have no excuse to not be one of the best teams in the league this year and compete for a championship.
This is a little bit of a wild card. We didn't talk about this in our pre-production meeting, but talk a little bit about the youth movement on the Patriots of recent years. There's a few stalwarts, the old guard, present company included. But there's certainly been a youth movement over the past couple of years.
I recently learned that Nick Richards, who's going to be starting our starting pitcher today, he's been secretly recruiting for the Patriots in the background for the past couple of years. I didn't even know this. I think that's why he joined the team, because he's actually been feeding the Patriots with young baseball players through various sources. So I appreciate Nick's efforts there. So guys like Calum will be back from college, and Ankush will be back from college later on. These guys are really going to help us. And I don't know where
still in college.
Yes, they are
God
not here
bless.
with us yet. They have not reported to camp yet, because they have to take their finals.
Academics first.
Yes, we support them. in all of their academic ventures. And when they get back, we'll be excited to have them.
Good for them. That is fantastic. All right, well, as we mentioned, we are en route to opening day 2019. We are traveling on 66 right now. What do you know about today's opening day matchup, the Boston Brewers? What's the manager's perspective there?
Well, the Boston Brewers are a team that, again, has been around with us for a long time. We've been playing them going back to the DCMSBL Metal Bat days. We've battled with them in the playoffs many times over the years back then, and since they've been in Fed Ball since last year, that rivalry has been rekindled. I'd say they got the best of us last year. We split the season series, I think, but they got us in the playoffs. So we owe them a couple this year, and they're a good team, a bunch of veteran guys as well. So we always look forward to playing them, and it'll be interesting to see how it works out today.
How do you help manage from an emotional standpoint in the dugout? A little bit of maybe that revenge factor from last year, but also the excitement and pageantry of opening day. There's a lot of emotions coming into today's game, certainly. How do you sort of set the right tone in the dugout?
We have a veteran team. These guys have been here before.
Great point.
So once you get out there between the lines, it's just kind of you got to go take care of business. I think our team's ready to do that.
All right, outstanding. We're going to keep it short and sweet on the first episode of This Week in Patriots Baseball, a podcast, as we head into the 2019 season. Fish, any final closing comments for you before we take the field here for a 11:05 first pitch?
I'm just looking forward to getting started. Looking forward to seeing you out there in center field today, Chad.
I can't wait.
And let's go, Pats.
There you have it from the Patriots manager himself, Keith Fischer, beginning year 19 at the helm of the Washington Patriots. All right, we've got a breaking news alert. Breaking news from 12:10 a.m. WPBR, Washington Patriots Baseball Radio Network. Post-game coverage, opening day. Patriots, big winners, 14-6 over the Boston Brewers. We're back live with Patriots manager Keith Fischer to break it down. Keith, congratulations on the opening day win, 1-0. That's got to feel great right out of the chute.
Yep, thanks very much, Chad. Same to you as well. Congratulations on the W.
Thank you. It does. It feels very good indeed. What'd you see out there from your perspective, from the guys?
Well, it's just always great to just get back out there, get the first one under your belt. It's always great when that first one's a W. I think what you saw out there today, you see a lot of the whole season. We ran 6 pitchers out there today, a lot of depth, good defense today, and we hit the ball well. So we played well in all 3 phases of the game, and we're going to try to continue to do that for the next 19 games.
You had a lot of rotation in there. Rotated catchers, as you mentioned, 6 pitchers. Was that part of your strategy going into the game? And if so, why? And how did that play out for you?
Yeah, that's going to be our strategy. Going forward, pitching is going to be our strength. The depth we have in our pitching is going to be our strength this year. And I'm just looking forward to keeping everybody fresh. Everyone's going to be able to go out there and attack their 2 or 3 innings. The way that they want to. We're going to keep everybody healthy all year long. That's going to be the goal. And hopefully this is the blueprint. This is the blueprint for success going forward for the Pats.
Love it. What would you say? 14-6, it started to sort of get away from the Brewers there in the latter innings. But what would you say was the turning point when the Patriots were really able to blow it open there?
Well, I'd say really 2 things. One was, Joey Polino made his Patriots debut today. He came in and really solidified things, locked things down for 2 innings on the mound. It was great to see what we have in him out there today. So that was really big for us, I think. And then, Jeff Pyatt with that 2-out, 2-strike RBI hit, that added to our lead at that point in the game. How many years now have we been talking about Jeff Pyatt getting big 2-out hits for the Pats? That guy just continues to do it. I think he's going to continue to do it into his 60s, as he said today, and hopefully I'll be watching him that whole time. But Jeff, again, with another big day at the plate today. He always usually starts the season hot, and it's great to see him continue to do that today.
So we had Joe and Jeff, really two ends of the spectrum there, in terms of the veteran core.
Yep.
And as you mentioned, making his Patriots debut was Joe. I guess talk about the dynamic that you saw in the clubhouse pregame and in the dugout throughout the game. What'd you see from the guys yelling in the dugout?
I think that it's just been this way the past couple of years. Everyone really has a good, just a really good relationship. Everyone gets along well. Everyone's real excited for this year.
Yeah.
And I think everyone has a Patriot baseball fever right now.
Patriot baseball fever is alive and well as we sit here 1-0 after opening day. Keith, good stuff. Thanks for joining us, and continued success going forward.
Thanks a lot, Chad. Look forward to talking to you again soon.
The Patriots are back in action next Sunday versus the DC Trash Pandas. Another 11:05 first pitch start time. Keep it locked right here on This Week in Patriots Baseball, a podcast, for all the updates going into Game 2 and maybe a little post-game pod as well. That's going to do it for us today. Happy opening day to you and yours, wherever you happen to be listening. Until next time, I'm your host, Chad Kurz. Thanks for listening, and don't forget to try your best. So long, everybody.